on this computer. Oh. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Hopefully everyone can hear us okay. If there's anything going on with the, whoops, did not mean to start sharing my screen. If there's anything going on with the audio at any point, just let us know, just pop in the comments. Actually, before I even get into anything, just, feel free to say hi in the comments, introduce yourself throughout class, say where you're joining from, what brought you here, kind of what's drawn you to today's practice or how you know this community. We always like to get to know who we're in the room with and sharing space with. So feel free throughout class to say hi and introduce yourself. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and get kicked off. By the way, we are recording today's class and we will share the link, upload it so it's available to everyone who's participating or anyone who donated and couldn't make it. So don't worry about that. All right. So hello, everyone. My name is Divya. I am a yoga educator and a researcher currently based in New York. And today's class is in honor of people in Pakistan who are being affected by the awful catastrophic floods that have been displacing millions of people and unfortunately left so many people dead as well. It's a very serious climate change issue and we want people to take note and exercise compassion. One of the cornerstones of yoga in supporting other people, not just with our thoughts and prayers, but by directly impacting them through action as well. So that's why we're all gathered here today. We're very appreciative of all of you who are joining and contributing to the cause. As always, supporting the work, supporting the cause. So that being said, I'm going to pass it off to my lovely co-host, Rabia, for her to introduce herself. Oh, I just realized I forgot to share my pronouns, which are she, her. So anyway, Rabia.
Thanks, Divya. If you could just give me a thumbs up if everyone can hear me okay. Cool, we're good. Awesome. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Rabia Magani. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm currently in Maui today. And I want to thank each and every one of you for joining and showing the support and the solidarity for this cause. So the way that the class is going to go is I'm going to share a little bit of context on what's going on in Pakistan currently, a little bit of statistics, and then just the format of our class today, which is I'm going to start off with some seated meditation. So wherever you are is completely fine. And then after that, we will be transitioning into some movements and asana. So if any changes you need to make in the interim, please feel free to do so. Also, this will be a recording for you to have at a later time. So if you need to drop off for any reason, you'll still get the link for it. And the other reminder is that this is just a guide for you to move, to dabble, to play with a little bit, but nothing that's meant to force your mind and body into anything it's not ready for. So please take breaks unapologetically. So today we are coming together to share space to show solidarity for Pakistan. Pakistan is currently fighting for survival from the monsoon rains that started in June that have battered the country. Pakistan had 464% more rain the last few weeks than over the 30-year average for this period, which is insane. Over 1,000 people have died from the start of the floods in June, and the majority of those deaths have happened in the past few weeks with just how bad it's gotten. And over 33 million people have been impacted and displaced. Currently, 1/3 of the country is underwater, which is unfathomable, and it's not getting the amount of the coverage support that it really needs in this time. The glaciers are melting at a rate that's never been seen before, and 90% of the crops in the Sindh area have been destroyed, which means that those that have not died from the flood or not been impacted or displaced are now possibly going to be facing famine and starvation, which is why the support must continue. For this fundraiser, we're working with the Islamic Relief USA. This organization is working tirelessly to provide emergency relief for those impacted by the flood, as well as access to clean and safe water and food aid. For the practice portion of our time together, I'm going to go ahead and start us off with a meditation. So please feel free to take any movements you need before dropping into the practice, anything you need to become just a little bit more comfortable. You're welcome to keep your camera on or off, whatever feels most comfortable to you. And we'll start off by finding a position where the back is straight and supported. So either by a wall, couch, if you're propped up on a cushion, or if you choose to lay down, feel supported by the ground. And just a reminder here to mute yourself if you haven't already. I like to begin my seated meditation practices with just a little bit of movement so that the body can find some ease before we drop into the seated meditation. So you're welcome to mirror my movements. You're welcome to move in any which way that feels comfortable to you. Or if the body is craving stillness, to honor that. I'll start with a few spinal washing breaths. So the way we do this is as we inhale, we'll take the arms up, big liberal movement, rolling the shoulders up, back. And as you exhale all the way back down, open mouth side, let it go. 2 more times, big breath in, inhale. And exhale. And exhale, release. Beautiful. We'll go ahead and draw a line with the chin all the way up as we inhale, take the chin up, look up. And exhale, round through the neck, bring the chin in towards the chest. If this movement makes you dizzy at all, you're welcome to lower the gaze, soften the eyes. 2 more times, inhale, big stretch through the neck, the throat. Exhale, chin to chest. Last time, breath in, inhale, we look up. And exhale, chin to chest. Wonderful. We'll do a few rounds of sun moon breath. So we'll go ahead as we inhale, take the arms up. And the hands will come together at the top, zenith of the breath. And as you exhale, bring the arms back and down, pushing with the palms. 2 more times. Inhale, big breath in, big liberal movement. And exhale, bringing it back down. Last time, inhale, big breath in, hands come to touch. And as we exhale, we'll bring this mudra all the way back down to the heart. Resting, pausing here for a moment. Noticing the change in the body, any sensations, awareness. Noticing the heart rate. Beautiful. We'll go ahead and release here and transition into our pranayama for today. So our breath retention will be Nadi Shodhana. So the mudra that we use for Nadi Shodhana is like so. This is with my right hand. Now, if this is a little uncomfortable to do at first, you're welcome to just try with the pinky and the thumb and see if you can transition with the ring finger. But we'll go ahead and bring this mudra up to the nose. And I'm going to plug my right nostril with my thumb, breathing in with my left, inhale. Plug the left nostril with the 2 fingers, exhale from the right. Let's try that together a few times. Inhale. Switch, exhale. Inhale. Switch, exhale. Now, as you're starting to get a hang of the breath, practice, see if we can kind of retain at the top of the breath, inhaling in. Hold, exhale. Resting in that subtle suspension at the top of the breath and the exhale. Continuing now on your own pace. Noticing if you're clenching, holding anywhere, and gently release. A few more rounds, take your time. Noticing if your capacity for expanding increases with each round. Last time on each side. And we'll gently release the mudra. Take a big deep breath in here. Inhale. And exhale, release. We'll begin by gently taking a look around the environment that you're currently in, noticing all that makes up where you're seated today. Without any judgment of wanting it to be different or better or cleaner, we simply notice. Inviting you all to pause your gaze on one thing in your environment that you're really grateful for today. Either form, function, or emotional value. Beginning to notice any sounds in your environment, first those that are further away, and then closer to the body. Noticing any smells. Noticing any taste. And without any overt movement, just beginning to notice the points of contact that the body is making with the seat today. The texture of the seat. The feet on the floor. And the points of contact that the body is making with itself. Ankles crossed. Arms hugging into the lower ribs. And here we'll take the hands and press the base of the palm into the thighs, into the knees, lifting all 10 fingers. Big breath in here. And as we exhale, we'll begin to lower the pinky, the ring, the middle finger, the pointer, and the thumb, pressing into the tops of the knees or the thighs. Feeling the support that the sense of self has to offer. Noticing if you can feel the texture of the clothes on the body. And noticing if you can feel the air move or not. Resting in our full awareness. You're welcome here to lower the gaze or soften the eyes only if it feels comfortable, and to allow the sound of my voice to guide you. We'll begin by taking our awareness, our attention to the very top of the head. And as if this awareness, this attention is all that you've been seeking lately, compassion, forgiveness. We'll begin to rain this awareness down the forehead, down the eyes, down the jaw, gently unclench, bring some space between the teeth. Down the neck, down the shoulders, gently drop the shoulders. Down the chest, the abdomen. Release any clenching as we move down the spine to the lower back. Down the arms, the elbows, the forearms, the wrists. Each and every finger, release. Continuing to move down the hips, the thighs, the knees, the calves, the shins, the ankles, the tops of the feet, each and every toe, release. Resting in the totality of our being for just a brief moment. In this moment, I am safe. And in this moment, I am supported. Resting the awareness here in the tips of the toes, noticing any pulsing, any sensation. And from here, we'll pull up the feet, up the calves, up the thighs, up the abdomen, up the arms, all the way back up until we rest our awareness at the tip of the nose. Noticing the breath. The origin for all this facilitation that takes place in the body. And noticing as we bring our awareness to the breath, it responds by expanding. Noticing the qualities of the breath here without any judgment. Short, shallow, deep, full. You're noticing here that we, the microcosm of the macrocosm, if the breath is mirroring our experiences. What would deepening the breath create capacity for? As you begin to deepen the breath here, inhaling, filling the belly up with air. And as you exhale, release. Inhaling deeply. And exhaling completely. The breath, our anchor. Anytime we feel distracted, lost in thought, overwhelmed, we simply come back to our breath. I invite you to rest in the breath for a few moments as I share poetry, first in Urdu and then in English. Subh-e-Azadi by Faiz Ahmad Faiz. ये दाग दाग उजाला, ये शब गजीदा सहर, वो इंतजार था जिसका कि वो सहर तो नहीं, जिसकी आरज़ू लेकर चले थे यार के मिल जाएगी कहीं ना कहीं, फलक के दश्त में तारों की आखिरी मंजिल, कहीं तो होगा ये शब सुस्त मौज का साहिल, कहीं तो जाग कि रुकेगा सफीना गम ए दिल. This dawn that's marked and wounded, this dawn that night has chipped on, it's not the dawn we expected. It's not the dawn we were looking for, hoping we would find it somewhere. Hoping we would find it somewhere, my friends set out thinking, somewhere in the desert of the skies. The stars would halt. Somewhere the night slowly waves, and we would find shore. There must be somewhere where the ship of our heartaches comes to rest. Inhaling deeply, exhaling completely. Resting in the breath here. And we'll sit in silence now for a few moments, inviting you all to take 5 last deep breaths with me. Letting them be the deepest, fullest breaths you've taken all morning, all day. Allowing each passing exhale to be just a little bit deeper. As we reach that 5th and final exhale, you're welcome to stay in stillness. Or gently begin to bring awareness to the fingertips, the toes, moving from side to side. Or maybe we take a big body stretch as we inhale, we take those arms up and overhead. And as we exhale, releasing the arms back and down. Coming back to this moment, coming back to your breath. And taking a moment, maybe even bringing your hands to your heart. Gratitude for your presence here today. Gratitude to everyone showing up, for showing support. Gratitude for these practices indigenous to South Asia that we have and continue to benefit from. We'll begin to rub the palms together, create some heat, some energy, some friction. And once you begin to feel that warmth between the palms, we'll go ahead and wash it all over the face, down the neck, down the arms, down the legs, anywhere else that you need today. And then gently fluttering the eyelids back open. Once again, looking around our environment, reorienting. Noticing the sounds, the smells. And we'll begin now to transition into our asana practice. So please feel free to make any adjustments that you need before we begin the practice. And Divya will take it from here.
All right. Thank you so much, Rabia, for that beautiful meditative practice. I feel transported. My body just kind of went numb for a moment there, especially when you're reading that poetry. So thank you for that. We're going to move into some asana practice. We're going to transition into it very gradually because I know we're all in a place of peace and stillness. So we're not going to just jump right into chaturanga. Don't worry. So whether you're seated somewhere or if you're on the sofa, wherever you are, find your way over to the floor. You can use a mat, a towel, or just any surface where you're comfortable practicing and moving. Feel free to have any props with you that you typically use in your practice, whether that's a block, a bolster, a strap, a towel, water, whatever you need by you to get into this movement practice. And we're going to start seated, like I mentioned. I also forgot to say this earlier, but if you are documenting your practice today in any way or sharing this to social media, feel free to tag Rabia and I so we can share your practice. I always love seeing what's happening on the other side of the screen since we're not able to really interact with you during these classes as much as we would like to. And just so we can share the cause, and the fundraiser will stay up at least through the end of today, so we can continue to raise awareness and encourage people to participate after the fact as well. So please do help us in continuing to spread awareness until the initiative is closed off. So let's start seated on the mat. You can go ahead and cross your ankles, let your knees fall out nice and wide, starting in Sukhasana easy pose. Take a moment here to continue on the groundedness that you have built through Rabia's meditation. So go ahead and flutter your eyes back closed if you'd like to, or just direct your gaze downwards to relax the facial muscles, relax your awareness. Let's start with the hands on the thighs, palms face down for just a moment. Seal the lips if they aren't already. Take a nice deep inhale through the nostrils. And exhale through the nostrils. One more deep inhale. And exhale. On your next inhale, I want you to embody groundedness and heaviness through the root of your body. So really move the flesh out of the way so you can allow yourself to impress down into the ground. And on your inhale, lift the rib cage and the shoulders up and away from the hips, almost like you're elevating them away from the ground. As you reach the top of your inhale, allow the ribs to open through the chest, maybe even pinch the shoulder blades together slightly to exaggerate this opening. Lifting the chin slightly. As you exhale, maintain this openness in the upper body as you root down, get even heavier through the seat, compressing and pushing all the oxygen out. We're going to deepen the breath now using Ujjayi Pranayama or Victorious breath. Keeping the lips sealed, lift your tongue to the roof of your mouth and slide it back to seal the back of the throat. From here, as you inhale, you'll feel a bit of a deeper pull from the center of the body as you intensify the breath, building heat. Inhaling like so. Hold it for just a moment at the top, feeling the air swirl around, and exhale here with force and intention. Inhale deeply, drawing from the root all the way up through the crown of the head, feeling the expansion. The lightness through the upper body as you float. Exhale, ground yourself back down, drawing the navel back towards the spine as you compress. One more deep inhale together. Sipping the breath in, taking your time without rushing. Exhale slowly with intention, following the breath all the way to the end. Flip the palms up. We're gonna start working in some spinal movement. On the inhale, lift the arms out to the side, matching the lifting of the arms to the length of your inhale, bringing your fingertips to touch at the top of the inhale. Reaching up, lengthening the spine, maybe even gaze up towards the fingertips, relax the shoulders away from the ears. As you exhale, flip the palms to face down, pushing downwards with force, with intention. Bringing the palms back to the knees at the bottom of the exhale. One more time, inhale, rise up. Exhale, float down. One more together, inhale, rise. Exhale, ground back down. Slight shift on our inhale, rise up, palms meet at the top of the inhale. On the exhale, keep the left hand rising up as your right hand drops down to the mat. Gently push the mat away to engage the right side body as you lift the gaze up to the left fingertips, stretching through the left side body. Inhale, lift the right hand back up to meet the left. Exhale, left hand drops down, slightly pushing into the mat as you lift up through the right fingertips. Gaze reaches up. Keep the left side body active. Try not to let your ribs collapse down, instead continuing to lift up through the spine. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bend to the right. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release. Keep that Ujjayi breath worked in here, matching the movement to the breath. Inhale, rise. Exhale, compress. Inhale, rise. Exhale, compress. Inhale, rise. Slight change here. On the exhale, draw the left hand forward, right hand goes behind the back, light pressure on fingertips all around as you twist over the right shoulder. Now, check on your left knee, make sure your knees aren't floating up, and ground them back down towards the floor. Sit the spine up nice and tall, draw the navel into your back as you twist over the right shoulder, lowering them away from the ears. Gaze follows. Inhale, rise up, palms touch overhead. Exhale, right hand comes forward, left hand behind the back as you twist over your left shoulder. This time, same deal. Check the knees are grounded, navel back into the spine. Light pressure on the fingertips, gazing over the left shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, center. Exhale, let's bring both palms down to the mat, coming into tabletop Padmasana. Stack the shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. Take a moment. Maybe move the hips around, wiggle the shoulders, start to move the whole body. All right, for first bandha, we're gonna work on our first bind. I want you to work on your hasta bandha, which is the hand grip. So start by pressing all your fingers down into the mat. And from here, slowly peel your fingers off, just pressing the base of your palm, the base of your wrist into the mat. Stretch all your fingertips forward, widening the distance between each. And then gently float the tips or the pads of your fingers down to the mat, starting from the outer edge of your hand, moving inwards towards the thumb. When the full surface of your hand is now gripping the mat, or is now on the mat, press the pads of the fingers deeply into the mat and draw them back towards the center of your palm, creating a tenting effect. So you'll feel a sort of tunnel forming in the center of your palm. This is Hasta Bandha. It basically teaches our hands to play an active role in keeping us balanced and grounded, just so we're kind of activating our hands the same way we would our feet, as if we're walking around. This is a really important technique to protect your joints, especially your wrist joint, in any kind of weight-bearing posture where your hands are bearing that weight, so that you're not relying on the bones and the joints to do the work, but instead relying on the larger muscles, both in the hands and in the arms, all the way up into the shoulders to take that load. Press into the tops of your feet here to activate the thighs. And let's start by taking an inhale, turn the tailbone up to the ceiling, drop the belly, lift the gaze, pinch the shoulder blades in together to open through the chest. Moving into our cat-cow flow, lift the gaze up. On the exhale, tuck the chin into the chest, push the mat away, broadening the shoulders across the back, draw the belly button into the spine, hollowing up the belly, tuck the tailbone in for cat pose. Inhale, unfurl the tailbone, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, tuck the chin, hollow the belly, pull the tailbone down. Let's start to move this into a cycle. Inhale, unfurl. Exhale, compress. Inhale, rise. Exhale, compress. Inhale, rise. Exhale, compress. Inhale, rise up. This time on the exhale, go ahead and untuck your toes. Push the hips up into the air, coming to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. We'll go through a couple more bandhas. So we talked about Hasta Bandha, the hand bind. So really grip the mat underneath your palm. Pull up into the shoulder blades, broadening the back. Tuck the chin into your chest here. This is Jalandhara Bandha, or the chin bind, which protects the back of your neck from being impinged, releases your spine. Direct your gaze towards the toes, the knees, or even towards the belly button here. Draw the navel deep into the spine and then back, and lifting up slightly towards the rib cage to activate your Uddiyana Bandha, or your abdominal bind, protecting the lower back from overflexing. Bend the knees here one at a time, stretching out the backs of the calves. Bring back that Ujjayi breath, that victorious breath, moving the breath with intention through the body. On your next inhale, gaze forward between the palms. Exhale, take 2 giant steps up to the top of the mat. Bend the knees generously, grab opposite elbows, release the crown of the head down to the mat, and just swing here for a moment. Allowing the weight of your head to traction your spine down towards the mat, releasing any trapped air, any tension. Swing back and forth, left to right, in circles, whatever movement feels good for your spine right now. When you're ready, release the hands down to the mat, drop the head. Slowly, keeping the navel pulled into the spine, roll yourself up, 1 vertebrae at a time, rolling the shoulders back when you're standing. Last bandha we'll talk about for the moment is Pada Bandha, or the foot bind. So just like we did with the hands, lean back on the heels, spread your toes out wide, gently bring the toes back down to the mat, starting with your outermost toes, moving inwards. And when the full surface of your foot is now down, grip the mat under your toes, drawing the toes back towards your heel. Feel it tensing. So when you're doing this, you should notice that your kneecaps lift up and grip around the thigh muscles here so that you're fully engaging the legs. The biggest difference is if you're standing passively without playing an active role in your balance here, you could be easily knocked over or pushed over or lose your balance. Versus when you're activating your Pada Bandha, you're now rooting yourself into the ground, making it much harder to lose your balance or to fall over. So this is a really important one to do anytime you're balancing, whether it's Warrior 3 or tree pose. Really, the options are endless. From here, go ahead and roll the shoulders down the back. Inhale, lift the arms up and overhead, slight bend in the upper back, push the hips forward just a little bit. If you'd like to, you can lift your gaze up to meet your fingers. Urdhva Hastasana, upward facing hand posture. Exhale, bow forward, bending the knees if you like. Drop the hands down to the shins or the feet. Allow the weight of your head to traction you down. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, rise halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Hands can stay on the feet or come to the shins as you lift the crown of the head forward. Continue to keep that navel pulling into the spine to protect your lower back here. Pinch the shoulder blades in together to open through the chest, gaze forward. Weight evenly balanced across the sole of the foot. Exhale, plant the hands down, step both feet back to Phalakasana plank pose. Hold the breath here for just 1 moment. Push back through your heels, push into your palms here using your Hasta Bandha. Gaze forward, broaden the shoulder blades across the back. Exhale, shift forward slightly. Bend those elbows, drop the chest down to the mat. Feel free to come down to the knees here. Keep those hips lifted. Feet stay active as you push back through the heels, gaze forward. Roll the shoulders down away from the ears, squeeze those elbows into the side body. Again, important now to reawaken that Hasta Bandha in your hands. As you inhale, use your finger grip to pull the chest forward while simultaneously pushing forward through your toes, coming into low cobra, Bhujangasana, or lifting your, straightening your elbows all the way to come to upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. You can also take a lift here by pushing into the tops of your feet here, like we did in the beginning of the asana practice, and lifting the thighs up off the mat. Continue to support that lower belly by pulling your navel into the spine, or the lower back, sorry, not the belly. Exhale, push those hips back, coming to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. 1 breath here. Bring back that Ujjayi breath into your system if your breath has become shallow. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step or hop the feet up. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Protect that lower back. Bring the belly button into the spine. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, rise up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Pranamasana, hands to the heart. Let's cycle through this a little bit more quickly now. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, Chaturanga Dandasana, bend those elbows. Inhale, Bhujangasana or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold, step those feet up. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, release, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Pranamasana. Allow yourself to get lost in the movement now. We're going to follow the breath. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, rise. Exhale, downward dog. All right, from here, inhale, lift the right leg high, reach up through the heel, keep your hips even, bring the right hip back down if it's opening up to the side, kicking up through your heel instead. Push your weight into your palms, lengthening your arms. Exhale, draw the knee into the chest as you shift the weight over your palms. Step the right foot up inside the right palm for Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Kick back through your heel, your left heel. Ground yourself through the right foot here. Maybe walk the feet a little bit wider apart on the mat so you have a nice wide foundation. As you inhale, spin the left heel down to the mat first, solidifying your foundation. Rise up for Warrior One, Virabhadrasana. Let's take a moment here. As you inhale, lift up through the fingertips, lengthening the spine. Exhale, ground down, bending into the right knee. Take a moment here and press your weight into the outer edge of your left foot, the foot behind you. Draw the left hip forward as you pull back into the right hip crease, squaring off your hips with the front of the mat. Shorten your stance if that makes this more comfortable for you. Widen your stance if that makes you feel a little bit more stable. Let's take one more breath here in Virabhadrasana. Inhale, rise up through the fingertips. One last inhalation here. Exhale, open the arms to the front and back of the mat for Warrior Two. Stretch your fingertips in opposite directions. Pinch the shoulder blades together to open the chest. Gaze over your front middle finger. Now imagine that you are drawing the inner thighs in towards each other, solidifying your center of gravity here. Take one more breath. Exhale. Inhale, drop the left hand down to the back thigh, rise up through the right hand. Now, just like we did in the beginning of class, don't collapse the left rib onto your hip, instead staying active and lifting up and away from the hips. Reach up through the right fingertips, lifting your gaze if you feel stable to balance here. Again, this is a great posture to practice activating your padabandha, your foot bind. You're not balancing on one leg, but you still need to exercise that toe grip, that foot grip, so that your foundation is solid enough that you can lift your gaze and add that extra level of spice. Exhale, plant the right hand down by your foot, bring the left hand down too. Come back to your left toes. Inhale, step the right foot back, plank pose. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, drop down. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, we're gonna repeat this on the left. Let's lift the left leg high, kicking up through the heel. Face both hips down to the mat. Exhale, draw the left knee in through the chest as you shift the weight over your palms. Step the left foot up, Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Again, take a second to widen your stance here if you'd like to. Spin the right heel down to the mat. Solidify your footing. Inhale, rise up. Virabhadrasana, warrior one. Use your next 3 breaths to make all the same adjustments, lifting up through the fingertips, lengthening the spine. Pull the rib cage back towards the spine so you're not over flaring your lower back here. Draw the navel into the back as well. Pull the hips forward. Press into the outer edge of the right foot. Sink a little bit deeper into your left knee if that feels comfortable. And just breathe here. Ujjayi breath can be a very stabilizing form of pranayama, especially when you're incorporating it into your asana, especially when you're working the muscles and starting to build up some heat. The force of Ujjayi breath can be grounding and almost take away the shakiness as you remind your body to accept the oxygen, accept the relief. Inhale, rise up through the fingertips. Exhale, open the hands up to the front and back of the mat. Again, reaching through your fingertips, making sure your arms are playing an active role in this posture. Focusing your drishti, your gaze, over the left middle finger. Inhale, flip the left palm up, reach forward slightly, drop the right hand to the thigh, lift up through the left fingertips. For reverse warrior, paying attention again to the right side body here. Keep lifting the ribs up and away from the hips. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to frame the left foot, pick up your back right heel. Anjaneyasana, inhale, step the left foot back, plank pose. Exhale, drop down, Chaturanga Dandasana, inhale, rise up, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Exhale, bend the knee, start to draw it forward. Plant the right knee behind the right palm, drop the heel behind the left palm, setting up for half pigeon here. Check behind your left foot just to make sure that your left leg is parallel to the mat. Drop down to the top of the foot. Adjust the angle of your right shin. If your left hip is picking up a lot, if you feel like you're kind of at a diagonal with your hips, bring your right heel closer down towards the hip so there's less of a strain on the hip, and then readjust. You want your hips to be level and equidistant from your mat so you have the most room to work with to fold over if you're going to take it there. You're welcome to stay right here with your chest lifted, or come down to the forearms. You'll feel a little bit more sensation in the back of the right hip. Feel free to also try coming all the way down to your forehead. We'll stay here for 3 breaths. Use your Ujjayi breath here. Try not to let the breath get shallow. The heat that you generate with this breath is especially helpful when you're doing postures like pigeon pose, where you're opening up the tissue and really saturating it with oxygen to draw out any toxins or anything that's stagnating. 2 more breaths. Last one here. From wherever you are, let's come back up, lifting the chest. Pop up onto your back heel, pushing back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg high, stretching through the heel. Exhale, bend the knee as you shift forward. This time, let's drop the left knee behind the left palm, drop the heel over behind the right palm. Make any and all adjustments you need to. So check that your right leg is parallel to the mat. Adjust the angle of your left shin this time to make sure that your hips are equally spaced and comfortable, that you'll be okay here for a few breaths. Maybe things feel different on this side, so try different things out. Maybe stay up or see how it feels if you lower yourself down. Stay curious and open with your practice. Allow your body to guide you and lead you to uncharted territory. 3 breaths here. Last one. Go ahead and push yourself back up from wherever you are. Step the left leg back to downward facing dog. Drop both knees down to the mat as wide as it can go. Sink the hips between the feet. Extend your arms out long in front of you and drop down to the forehead for child's pose. Balasana. Allow the spine to get heavy. Notice and release any tension you feel in your hips. With each breath, let the body get heavier. Trust yourself to let go. One more breath. When you're done, go ahead and push yourself up. Cross your ankles underneath you. Sit the hips back. Extend your legs out long in front of you from Dandasana stack pose. Lift the arms up overhead, reaching through the fingertips to extend the spine nice and tall. As you exhale, start to reach the fingers forward with a focus on lengthening your spine. Feel free to bend your knees here if that feels more comfortable. And when your spine feels like it's reached its threshold, go ahead and soften the body over the thighs. Release yourself. From here, gently roll yourself back. Slowly with control and intention. Releasing all the way down, coming to Shavasana, corpse pose. Let's do a quick body scan. Starting with the top of the head, let's start to clench everything. So squeeze your eyes shut, scrunch your nose, purse the lips. The only time you're ever going to hear me say this, but scrunch your shoulders up into your ears. Make little fists with or balls with your fists. Clench your back, tighten your knees. Scrunch your toes, tense and squeeze, 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 squeeze. And let go with a big sigh. Feel free to place your left hand on the heart, right hand over the belly as you ground yourself, release. Breathe normally. Release your pranayama. Allow every exhale to dissipate the tension that you notice in the body. to even out the breath, to come back to yourself. When you're ready, release the hands and roll over to your side. Gently push yourself up to a seat. You can keep your eyes closed here if you like, savoring this moment, savoring your practice. I want to thank you all so much for joining me for this asana segment of today's Fundraiser yoga class. And thank you so much for showing up to this fundraiser class in general. Rabia and I both appreciate having your presence here with us today. I'm going to come up here and bring Rabia back on screen. I know that we all certainly appreciated having you with us here and participating in this cause, sending our love and our efforts towards the people of Pakistan and joining under this amazing practice that can bring so much healing to so many people. So thank you. And Rabia has some closing words as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for that practice, Divya. It was wonderful. And thank you to each and every one of you for joining. My hope is that the awareness continues and grows, that the support continues and grows, and that the solidarity continues and grows. And my wish for each and every one of you is that you find so much ease and peace, and that you rest unapologetically, and that whatever you are working towards come to fruition and unfold for you. We'll close with the message of peace you may wish to repeat. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May all beings everywhere be in peace. Thank you so much for your presence here today.
Thank you all. We will sort out the recording and make sure that you all get a copy of it. And yes, like we said, please continue to help us spread the word. The fundraiser will be open at least until the end of today. So there's still time to raise more money and help support Islamic Relief USA. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.